श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनौ रघुवर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। One may wonder that when Bhagwan was returning to his abode after completing his avatar, why would he leave Hanumanji behind? And why would Hanumanji stay behind and not go with Bhagwan? There are many reasons for that. First of all, Bhagwan is giving up his Ramchandraji's form. Right? Hanumanji is devoted to the form of Ramchandraji, but that is also very superficial. There is one beautiful verse by the gopis of Vrindavan. In Gopika Geet we find that even Indira or Lakshmi leaves Vaikuntha and comes to Vraja. Why? Because in Vaikuntha there is no Raja. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja. There is no dust of her. Because there to Bhagwan is sitting, sleeping on Shesh. So yeah, that too also in the ocean of milk. Where will there be any dust? No? So Charan, Kamala, Raja is available only on this earth, not in Kshir Sagar, not in Vaikuntha. No? But as far as Hanumanji is concerned, whatever Bhagwan instructs, people say devotion, people say seva. What is the essence of devotion? What is the essence of seva? Everybody says, I am a shishya. But what is, or who is a shishya? That when the Lord or the Guru instructs something, we just implicitly follow. Otherwise, what is Shraddha? What is Bhakti? No? Bhagwan told Hanumanji to stay back in this world because Rama Bhagat Hita Nar Tanudhari. Bhagwan came to this world Sahi Sankat Kiye Sadhu Sukhari, for the happiness and well-being of all the sadhus. Sadhus are those people who are pure at heart, who will go through any difficulties but would help others to eliminate their faults. For such sadhus, Bhagwan has taken avatar and gone through all the possible difficulties that any human being can go, and that too also to such an extreme. And therefore, Bhagwan left Hanumanji back for whom? For us. Because who would bring all of us to Bhagwan if not for Hanumanji. And as far as Hanuman is concerned, he will follow any instruction of Bhagwan because he is Ramaduta. He is the sevak of Bhagwan. A sevak does not insist on anything for himself. Whatever the Lord instructs, whatever the Lord says, he just does it. And at the same time, Hanumanji knows, in Vaikuntha there is nothing to serve Bhagwan. He is a mere witness. Seva of Bhagwan is only on this earth where his devotees are trying to reach him, are remembering him, singing his glories, or going through the various sufferings in their life. So, he is here because Ramachandra ke kaj savare. He is here only to serve Bhagwan and to do his work. And if Bhagwan's work is here, he will be here. If Bhagwan's work is in Lanka, he will be in Lanka. If Bhagwan's work is to go up to the heavens, he will go up to the heavens. And if Bhagwan's work is in Patal, he will go down to Patal also. And as far as Hanumanji's seva and devotion is concerned, it is not just like that only that Bhagwan said, Tum mama priya bharata hi sama bhai. That you are dear to me like my brother Bharat. And why that comparison? Will not Lakshman feel really sad? They didn't have sibling rivalry. Like you all. He didn't have that sibling rivalry. See, Lakshmanji's devotion and seva is such that he cannot remain separate from Bhagwan. Separated from Bhagwan, Lakshman is helpless. But why Bharat comparison is given, and yesterday also you heard that there is no brother like Bharat. Not that Lakshman is any less, or Shatrughan. Shatrughan, the no ego only, But Bharat staying separate from Bhagwan. Lakshmanji was in the presence of Bhagwan, and in the presence of bliss and serving Bhagwan is such a joy, privilege, effortless. But to be away and still do Bhagwan's work, that is Bharat. And Hanumanji has been said that Bharate hi sama bhai. That even away from Ramchandraji, and Hanumanji could do both. Bharat, when he's in the presence of Ramchandra, is so much reverence that he just behind holds the umbrella, that's all. Lakshmanji, separated from Ramchandraji, he cannot do anything. But Hanumanji is such who in the presence of Bhagwan is also equipoised. This is sometimes excitement. Then also you can't serve. Yona rishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhakti manya same priyaha. And there it means that how should we serve? Even while serving we get excited, we will only mess up. If there is hatred for anyone in our heart, it will reflect on the Lord and the Guru only. Because the Guru only has to suffer it. Lord only has to suffer it. Hanumanji, in the presence of Bhagwan, is so equipoised, and therefore in every work that he does, he's kushalam. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam is what we have to see in Hanumanji. Na shochati, na kankshati. Does not grieve over anything. He doesn't have anything to regret, because everything he does is only for Ramchandraji. He doesn't want anything for his own. Therefore, he can serve diligently, efficiently, and never gets bound himself, excited, worried, tensed. He has no time for any of these things. Even if there's a mighty feat in front of him, he doesn't sit and worry. That is Hanumanji. And Bhagwan left him behind to bring us to him. He stayed behind, that wherever there are devotees singing the glory of Ramchandraji, he is waiting to catch them and bring them to Ramchandraji. Therefore, Ram duare tum rakhware hot na agya benu paisare. Sab sukh lai tumhari sharna tum rachak kahu ko darna. And therefore Bhagwan left Hanumanji in this world, that as devotees we just carefree sing his glory. Pag gunguru bandh mira nachire. Fearlessly do Ramchandraji's work, do his seva, perform our duties, and do our bhajan, kirtan, seva. And there Hanumanji is present. And why is Hanumanji present there? Not only to see and enjoy seeing the devotion of the people for Ramchandraji and Ramchandraji's glory being sung and spread, but ever ready to protect, ever ready to guide, ever ready to motivate, and therefore he is present there. It is said even great jivas keep coming back again and again, even though they can attain enlightenment and moksha. But they come back again and again just to serve. It is said like that, no? Again, we used to have, in this place only, we used to sit outside in the open with the view of the Himalayas. Puja Gurudev was speaking on the Sthita Pragya Lakshana in the Gita Marathon camp. And the way Gurudev would describe the man of perfection, the way he portrayed that he could bring that character right in front of you. And we didn't have to imagine it, we could see in front of us. So one day again we were sitting out for satsang, and one elderly gentleman, he sat there, and first he started saying, Swamiji, I've got a question on a man of realization. Have you ever met a man of realization? He's asking Gurudev. Gurudev just smiled. I said, but you described very beautifully. It was so uplifting that even all of us wanted to be a man of realization. I don't know whether you want or not, but yeah, it was so inspiring. And this man then tells, then Gurudev explained to him certain things, and then he tells Gurudev, are you there? And people like to ask that, they want to measure the realization also, So are you there? And all of us were like, some wanted to strangle him, some wanted to, be curious, really. We should also find out, And I had heard people ask this question to different people, even some visiting people. And if somebody said yes, they would say, what an egoistic person. I've said no. Then, even he is not realized then. No? So it's such a very peculiar question when somebody asks, because those who have grown, they know, that's all. But that's when, sitting at the feet of Hanumanji, I heard Gurudev say, he said, I am at the doorway. But I will not enter until and unless I have taken all my children. It is for that Hanumanji comes in midst of us. Himself can have, he could eternally be with Ramchandraji. But whenever there was anyone in distress, Tuma upakar sugriva hi kina, Rama milaye rajpada dina. He had met Ramchandraji, was in the embrace of Ramchandraji. But there also, Bhagwan, when Hanumanji says, did you not recognize me? He said, how can I not recognize you? I am always with you. Kaso ananya jaake asi matina tarai Hanumanta मैं सेवक सचराचर रूप Swami Bhagavanta. Bhagavan says, such a devotee is my Ananya Bhakta. But as much as we may contemplate on this word Ananya, we do not understand that Bhagavan says, I am never separate from such a Bhakta. I cannot stay away from such a Bhakta. I am never separate from such a Bhakta. Which Bhakta? Main Sevak Sacharachara Rupa Swami Bhagavant. Who has only one identity, that I am a Sevak, and this entire world of moving, unmoving forms, things and beings, are the form of my Lord only. The service of the country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is devotion to the Supreme Self. We only have to be like Hanumanji. We know our responsibility. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill it. This is what Hanumanji is, and that is why Hanumanji stayed back. And what did Hanumanji do all his life? Bring Ramchandraji to the devotees to Ramchandraji. He did not even spare Ravan. He was even convincing Ravan. Yeah? And when Ravan was not ready to go to Ramchandraji, he brought Ramchandraji to Ravan. Even there, he was blessed only. But where is Hanumanji these days, people ask. Wherever he is, he's here. No, but they say, that, Hanumanji is in Kailash, in that cave, there was this photograph. So should we go to Kailash, Swamiji? And which cave should we go there? Therefore, it is said about Hanumanji, Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. Another very, very famous verse invocation of Hanumanji. Shirasa Namami. With my head bowed, I salute, surrender, invoke, adore. Whom? Vatatmajam Shri Ramadutam. Ramadutam, the messenger of Ramchandra. In Hanuman Chalisa also. Ramaduta Atulita Baladhama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama. There see Goswami Tulsidas ji puts his name first as Ramaduta. Because whenever anybody asked Hanumanji, who are you? Whether it was Mother Sita, he says, Ramaduta main matu janiki. He didn't say, I am Pavanasuta Hanuman. Why do I need? Nowadays, why should I have my father's identity? Why should I have my husband's identity? Wife's identity, so even Bhagwan has got. Yeah, because he's not as known as Lakshmi, as Shri. Nowadays, they're all into, I want my own identity. Hanumanji, one identity. Ramadutame. Ravan also asked, Ramadutame. When he introduces himself to Vibhishan also, Ramadutame. If in this world when we live, we have to have an identity. Without an identity, you can't live. But there are many types of identity, many types of egos. If you have to have the ego, then as it is said in the Ramayana, Sutikshan says, right? Asa abhiman jahi jani bore, main sevak raghupati pati bore. That this abhiman, this pride, this ego, may it never leave me. And this ego is not some arrogance. This identity I never want to leave. What? Main sevak. Raghupati pati more. That I am the sevak and my Lord is Raghupati. This is Hanumanji's identity. Because we always compare ourselves with the most important person in our life, or to whom we give importance, or we think we will be well recognized. His one identity is Main Sevak Raghupati Pati More. Ramadoot mein. Acha, doot may be of someone great. The servant of such a great person is far greater than a king of a small province. Is it not? More respect he has. But you may be messenger of such a, or sevak of such a person, but what is your ability? He is Pavanasuta, born of Vata, means wind, again air. Himself mighty, powerful, capable, and ever ready to serve with humility, which we have seen already before. And being the son of Pavan, and when you have to be the sevak of such a great person whose work is so mighty, then such a person has to be a person of great efficiency. Manojavam maruta tulya vegam. Who moves with the speed of the mind and with the force of the wind, even speed of the wind. Jitendriyam, whose senses, indriyas, are well controlled by him, or one who has got victory over his own senses. Buddhimatam varishtham, amongst the ones who are considered to be intelligent and wise, he is the greatest, the best amongst them. Vatatmajam Vanara Yuta Mukhyam. At the same time, chief amongst all the whole retinue of Vanaras. To that Ramaduta, I bow down with humility. So this is a beautiful verse. But when you meditate on these verses, deep down in your mind, what you develop is something that cannot be described with any explanations. One thing is also that people got Nobel Prizes in modern sciences by saying the fastest thing moving in this universe is light. Nothing moves faster than the speed of light. On this earth, what we can see is the wind is the fastest moving. And with the wind only we would sail the oceans, etc. Those days. Light is the fastest moving. But our rishis went even further to say that far more faster, and I use double superlative, so those who know English, far more faster can be wrong grammar. But these days when we are into everything fast, faster than the speed of light is the speed of the mind. It takes 8 minutes for the light from the sun to reach us. 4 years from the nearest star. But in a fraction of a second, your mind can reach the sun or not. It is with that speed Hanumanji does the work, and therefore with the speed of not light but the speed of the mind, and at the same time with the force of the wind, the might of the wind, whatever work Hanumanji does is so quick and so powerful. And many of the stories of the Ramayana is very clear that even when he crossed 800 miles across the ocean, with the speed of the wind that he went across the ocean and reached Lanka and brought the message back within 24 hours. Because he went there, next morning he saw Mother Sita and he was back. So within 12 hours he went to Lanka and he came back. Even now if you have to go with the fastest jet with transits and all that, and then clearing immigration and fighting some Rakshasas on the way. Yeah. Encountering security guards, security lines. Have you tried? Everybody wants to go by flight these days, Still trains Zindabad. You are late also, it will be waiting for you. Everybody wants to go by flight these days, and then want to go abroad. The security lines, the security checks, the Lankinis looking at you. All this, Hanumanji did it so quickly. And even quicker than that was that when the battle is taking place, the way Hanumanji, he seems he was everywhere in the battlefield. Nobody could understand where, because where Hanumanji landed up, there was victory anyway. Where it was required, he was there instantly. But when Indrajit shot that missile on Lakshman, and Lakshman fell down in a coma, everybody sat and said, Lakshman gone, Ramchandrajit's prana is Lakshman. We've lost our life here only. Meanwhile, Vibhishan mentioned about the Vaidya Sushen, Dr. Sushen. Everybody thought, okay, a bit of planning is necessary. So they all sat together and they made a committee. Planning committee. And generally planning committees discuss how things cannot be done. Guruji once told me, not all committees, please don't understand, but committees are generally made of individuals who themselves cannot do anything and collectively come to the conclusion that nothing can be done. Everything is difficult, everything is impossible. Are Hanuman bhaktas and you can't make anything happen? Yeah. While they were sitting and discussing, and I mean rightly so, shouldn't we be practical and see about the pros, cons, dangers? Yeah, planning is necessary, but execute it, right? Yeah, but in the planning only we still can't come to the decision whether it can be done or it cannot be done. It's not a question of certain things that can be done or cannot be done. It has to be done. People are still asking me, Swamiji, do you think the university, we can raise this much funds? Can the university run? It's not a question now whether we can or we cannot. We have to. And with that spirit, when you work, you will find a solution. Same way here, Hanumanji, while they were discussing, and they were, it is war alert, anti-aircraft guns on, fortress of Ravan. And Sushen is right in the middle there. And don't they know that Lakshman is in a coma and the first person that is going to be taken is Sushen. Whole security would be there. It's not like it was an easy task. But while they were still discussing Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam. He goes inside like the wind and nothing can stop the wind. The Vega of the wind. No walls. Even water for some time at least you can dam it. Wind though you cannot stop, from up, from down, in between, it will find its way. Hanumanji found his way and went into Lanka and got Legriha Vaidya Sushena Sameta. Just like a tornado lifts the entire house. He lifted the house of Sushen and brought him. Then Sushen says, serious situation, but solution is there. Yeah. Sanjeevani available in the Himalayas. Now they are Lanka. Lanka was already 800 miles far away from Bharat at that time. Now from Lanka to go, it's already late at night. To go all the way to the Himalayas, Even Airbus, Boeing and Concorde would not be able to go that fast and come back. Again, they met in committee as to, even if we try to get the Pushpak Viman, who will go and get the Pushpak Viman, and then how can we fly the Pushpak Viman from there? All these things they are discussing. Hanumanji went to Sushen, found out where Sanjeevani is available, and went all the way to the Himalayas, and within a short time came back. With that speed Hanumanji works. Which means at the speed of thought, manojavam. To have Hanumanji come to you right now, you just have to think and he is there. That's the meaning of manojavam. Begi haro Hanuman Mahaprabhu, jo kachu sankat hoy hamaro. Begi means at the speed of the mind. And I gave you the proof of that yesterday. The moment that morning I thought, I said, Hanumanji, they say you moved for me. Can you not move me? I get up from bed, put my feet on the ground. And within that 2 weeks, I was able to reach Australia. Right in the time of the inauguration. At the speed of wind, he took me. So when you say Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam, that he comes to the rescue of the devotee at the speed of the mind. बोलते हैं ना खाली सोचने की देर है बस. He can take you to Bhagwan at the speed of the mind. Bas. Delay is only in that momentary thinking. Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam. And unstoppable like the wind. Even Arjuna says, no, my mind is such that I feel it is as uncontrollable as the wind. Therefore, this Hanumanji, how come such mighty power? And in this world also sometimes, for some period of time, we see someone rise in great power, do great things, achieve, and afterwards it all fizzles down. We also, like the Vanars, when they went in search of Mother Sita, when they started off, everybody, Angad Kesangalen Kaesiya, Angad the youngster right in the front, the teenager with full enthusiasm, ready to go ahead. And all the monkeys in between, seeing any Rakshasa, catching them. Hey Ravana, maro, isko maro. Dunum, they went go hit him, and if he fell down, they say, it can't be Ravan. But after few hours, for us after a few minutes, hunger, thirst, snack time. If not snacks, then if some Gujarati Amma is around, Amma, snakes de do na. I tell you, in any batch, if there's a Gujarati Amma, we used to have these elderly Ammas here. And afternoon, after you have slept and rested and had your afternoon nap, after your afternoon nap, how come you feel so hungry? Have you noticed? You had such a big lunch, complete dham, that you had to go and sleep. And after sleeping, you feel so hungry. And we used to go to Amma, snakes, Amma, snakes. We are vegetarians, snakes means. That's a quick way of saying snacks. You cut it down, snakes. Jitendriyam, one who has got mastery over his senses. Not only one who does not get distracted by the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, but at the same time has even mastery over his hunger, his thirst. Because all these monkeys finally hunger and thirst, and they couldn't control it. And you know, when hunger and thirst comes, I mean, we are fed every 3 hours, even before the food is digested. So there's no opportunity to feel hunger and thirst. Whatever you feel that hunger and thirst, and then some people decide to fast. Yeah? Those pangs of hunger and thirst, when they come, jitendriyam. Yeah? And you know, especially when it is warm, like yesterday, meditation class. Yeah. And then behind you can't hear. It's so hot. And you've eaten the dham, slept, had your snakes. Yeah. And then these gentle eyelids. You may have gone to the gym and picked up 20 kgs and muscles. Try at that time to lift these eyelids. Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Jitendriyam. And therefore, even when stopped by Menak Parvat, at that time, Ram kaj kiye binu mohi kaha vishram. This is called Jitendriyam. And one who have got mastery over the senses, such a person only buddhi paryavatishtati. One whose senses are under his or her mastery, who is free of likes and dislikes. Even though functioning in the world with the senses, but senses controlled because no likes and dislikes. Prasanna chetaso yashu buddhi paryavatishtati. Whose mind is calm, peaceful, and happy doing the Lord's work. That person's intellect becomes steady. Intelligence is not a matter of genes. And every human being is not intelligent. Potential is there. Our rishis knew the secret, and therefore, when the students came to the Gurukula, they were given the Upanayana. If you want to know more about it, pen drives are available on the Gayatri Mantra and Upanayana. Listen to it, or go to the Chinmaya channel. Listen to it. Many of you sometimes think also, that I know this is very nice, bhakti is very easy, that even if I go to sleep, at least a part of the story I will hear. But this Gyan was very difficult, Gita talk very difficult. Upanishad, even more difficult. Therefore, our rishis gave us the Gayatri mantra, where there is inspiration, where with the mantra we can quieten our mind, then that the knowledge and the power that is there in the mantra illumines our intellect. So even between all this, Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam. One whose senses are mastered, who is ever inspired like the sun to dynamically living a life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what you consume, giving more than what you take. All these things Gurudev has demonstrated and given us as a mission pledge. So we need the intellect to understand the subtle secrets of the universe, as well as and that's why I was sneezing, because Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. And evam parampara praptam. And through such parampara, we have gained this knowledge. But to gain this knowledge, we need buddhi. And to apply our knowledge, also we require buddhi. And amongst the intelligent person, not only, because sometimes there's all muscles but no brains. They say beauty and no brains, muscles also and no brains. Because all the energy goes into the muscles. They generally have expression, muscles and no brains. There's all these wrestlers also, people like to watch. Oh, you come and hit me. But Hanumanji is an example for all wrestlers. And yet, buddhimatam varishtam. And what is the beauty of Hanumanji? His intellect is used only for Ramchandraji's work. And why no wavering? Because one goal is clear. That my work is Ram Kaj. No wavering, no difficulties. When there is no wavering, that convinced inner equipment is called as buddhi. And then to apply it at every stage of our life. And that is one thing about Hanumanji, that at every stage before he does something, he thinks. When he was searching for Mother Sita and he came to the palace, he was daring enough to go into the palace of Ravan, and he saw Ravan sleeping there. And in the nearby chamber, he saw not only this very beautiful but Tejaswini woman lying there. For a minute, he also was mistaken that this must be Mother Sita, because such tej only a Pativrata Nari can have. And that even Ravan being the husband, Mandodari had it. for Hanumanji to for a second mistake her to be Sita. But before he gets excited and say, "Mother, mother, wake up," and Mandodari gets up screaming and Ravan from the next chamber comes out. Yeah? He thought with the speed of light would disappear, but Ravan with the speed of Pushpak Viman would have taken Sita ji somewhere else. But there see, buddhi. He thinks that will Mother Sita be peacefully sleeping under the same roof of a lusty man, and that too also in comfort. And right he was, because he found her in Ashok Vatika, awake all night. Yeah. Sitting under the Ashoka tree. Krish Tanu, Jata ek beni. Lean but radiant. And only with one plait. Then he recognized it. Even then he waited. Even then he waited. Till he saw Ravan come and go. Still patient. Till when Sita ji asked for fire. Then first what to do? If he just came in front of her as Bajrang Bali Hanuman, first only she is afraid. She'll think another Rakshasa has come. She will immediately turn away. Sings the glory of Ramchandra. When she tells him to come in front, then only he comes and Sukshma Rupa Dhari Siyahi Dikhava. When to do what? So many stories are there. Intellect. When Ahiravan and Mahiravan take Ramchandra ji and Lakshman ji into the black hole straight to Patal, another dimension. People are still wondering how these rishis spoke about multi-universes and how they, because with the speed of the mind. And there again we find the secret that by the time Ahiravan and Mahiravan took Ramchandra ji into that black hole, before that hole closes, Hanumanji at the speed of the mind penetrates that hole and goes into the next dimension. How did the rishis describe the entire universe? What do we understand the mindset for this Indian knowledge heritage that we had? And hope that one day this university will bring such mighty intellects who can revive our knowledge system. Buddhimatam varishtham Vatatmajam Vanara Yutha Mukhyam. Leader of all the monkeys. And the army was huge. It's like every monkey from all over Bharat was ready to serve Ramchandra ji. And now Bharatiyas themselves are not ready to serve. And amongst them, Mukhyam, chief. He never went out in the front to be the leader. He just shone out to be the leader. Mukhyam. Another secret here is that in our mind is such potential. And when our thoughts are channelized by mastering our senses with the intelligence that in this impermanent world there is no permanent happiness, not by just repeating, nitya vastu vivekaha. Vairagya is no desire for objects here and hereafter, and when the new phone comes, immediately you want it. Jo sukh ko chahe sada sharan ram ki leha. That if you want happiness at all times, the wisdom is that it can be gained only from the infinite, not from anything finite. If action binds, every action that you do with likes, dislikes, desires binds, then do only that action which releases you, and that is as the seva of Bhagwan. This is called as intelligence. Yeah. कोई टीवी दास है, कोई बीवी दास है, but रामदास कौन है? Isn't it? Those thoughts in our mind that are inspired by the character of Hanumanji, if we keep that in our mind, and our thoughts, which are like the wild monkeys running here, there, everywhere, scattered, all those thoughts get channelized to become such an army that all the negativities, all the Rakshasas, including Ravan, the 10-headed ego, can be ended in just or by just being the servant of Bhagwan. So this is, therefore, with humility, I bow down to Ramaduta. And this is why Gurudev told us that the next few days keep chanting Shri Ramadutaya Namaha, Shri Ramadutaya Namaha, Shri Ramadutaya Namaha, Shri Ramadutaya Namaha. And let our minds all shower our love. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
And what must be the love of these gopis? That they did all their duties thinking that they are doing it only for Krishna. That the idol of our worship, the deity of our worship, the concept of our worship, if we do not know the Mahatmya, means the vastness, the infinitude of the Lord, then we will fall into some fanaticism, some attachment, some possession, even in the name of religion and even in devotion to the Lord. In that love where we do not know the infinite nature of the Lord and as the self of everyone and the self within you. In this love of the gopis, this so-called maddening love of the gopis, there was never forgetfulness of this knowledge of who Krishna is.